I came out here today because I love this country, which gave a home to my grandparents.
The shot heard round the world had been fired. The Revolutionary War had begun.
I'm appalled at what's happening in our country. I'm ashamed of what's happening, and I feel like we need to stand up and let everybody know that this is not right. I need all of us to come together so we can all collectively say that this is not right.
He's trying to divert all what's really happening into the immigrant problems and diversity problems, nothing about the wars that are going on, the billionaires that are taking over. Iran deal that he's trying to make that he's going to screw up. I could go on and on and on and on.
The reason why we came out to the protest is we are building a party for the working class. We do not think that the Democrats nor the Republicans, neither Trump nor the entire establishment, can actually solve anything for the working class. These are parties that have the best interests of who at heart? Ultimately, they have the best interests of Wall Street, of the billionaires. You know, Trump is the government of billionaires, but so was Biden, right? And so was every single administration of the United States before them.
Well, I think there's definitely racism in this country. Like, that's not something that we can discount. And I feel like people are willing to other, some people to feel like they're more powerful than them, and that's always been something that's happened in this country, and it's a main reason why so many people voted for Trump, because I don't see any other reason.
When asked what the most important issue was when deciding your vote, 35% say the state of democracy was the most important. The second comes the economy, which is really interesting.
Because what do they say? You tell a lie often enough that people believe it. So they believe if we get rid of the immigrant problems, that they're going to get rid of their problems.
I feel personally, I'm 71, and I feel like the cell phone era has made it difficult for people to differentiate between neurotic fantasies and actual facts. And that's why I'm here with this sign of my beloved Auntie Charlotte. She grew up in a very poor family in the Bronx and was a great scientist, and when she was in her 20s, she intuited that leukemia was a virus. And those are her, 5 generations down, students of students of students of students of hers are being defunded. A lot of women are going to die of ovarian cancer. A lot of women are going to die of breast cancer.
What we need is the working class, who is the vast majority of society, who holds the levers of production, who is actually able to make the light bulbs shine, make the buses run. That class, who has enormous potential and enormous power in its hands, needs to be organized and needs to be aware of its power. And its power doesn't come from, electing a representative to Congress, or electing a new mayor, or electing a president. Its power comes from the fact that it can stop production.
The Trump NLRB is making it harder for working people to organize unions and win higher wages, better benefits, and safer workplaces.
The NLRB, right? When we try to form a union and then we go to the NLRB, whose court is the NLRB? Whose institution is the LNRB? Is it our institution? Is it the working class's institution? No, it's the capitalist state's institution. So they tried to divert, the struggle into the NLRB. They say, don't fight in the factories, right? Don't fight in the warehouses. At the end of the day, Bezos, right, with Amazon, Bezos and Starbucks, all of these companies, they're not going to actually give in to any of the NLRB's demands, because they're not going to sign a contract with Amazon. If they sign a contract with the Amazon labor union, that would send a signal to the rest of the Amazon workers that this is a way to fight and this is a way to win.
Well, after January 6th, who would ever thought we could still be here? But now that we are, we just got to keep showing up, I guess, and trying not to support things like Amazon, which of course I'm guilty at times, but supporting things that he's making money off of. We have days that we don't buy anything from the internet. We have these marches. We kind of don't have a lot we can do, but we can keep coming out.
Doing this, coming out consistently, showing that we have a collective voice, not being quiet, not being afraid, like doing the best that we can to let our representatives know that we are not happy. Like, this cannot happen, and this is not the country that we believe in. This is not the country we want to live in. This is not the country that the world wants us to be.
In 2011, right, you saw Occupy Wall Street, millions of people out on the streets. In 2020, you had the biggest mass movement in the history of the United States, Black Lives Matter, where you had 20 to 30 million Americans out on the streets protesting against police brutality. And those protests are a sign of like anger bursting into the surface and trying to find a solution desperately. And so the process of building this party is we want to provide those movements with clarity of ideas. We want to provide those movements with a communist program, with a working class program. We want to say the anger that you're feeling that is coming out onto the surface, this is not just a random anger. This is an anger that should be directed and is really directed at the system itself.
I'm a very Jewy Jew, and I'm thinking, like in the book of Esther, which we just read on Purim, it says, maybe you were born for just a time as this. Just such a time as this. That's what it says in the book of Esther. And we have to start thinking about what is the way to create a more equitable tax code. Even the ex-Nazis in Germany and Austria, where I used to live for years, even they have a more equitable tax code than we do. And they fund their healthcare systems and their educational systems more generously than we do. How fucked is that? You know, so that's my thought.